Let's talk about how to grow your online coaching business, even if you have a full-time job. Guys, this is Brandon Eastman with the Be Better broadcast. This segment is Impact Hour, where we spend some time together to help new coaches, new service providers, new online entrepreneurs to build their brand, build their business, and impact people in their space. And today we're specifically talking about how do you do that, all those things I just mentioned, if you have the responsibilities of a full-time job. Well, I feel that I'm a good person to talk about this because I come from working a full-time job while building a coaching business, and I still have a stream of my income that can be considered a part-time job while I'm continuing to build my coaching business today. And I'm going to share with you specifically 4 tips and maybe a 5th bonus tip to help you in your pursuit to build your business with the constraints, or if we flip the mindset, the benefits of having a job at the same time. So if that's you, if you're someone who's got a job, you're trying to build this business thing, but you keep saying to yourself, how do you do it? Like, when do you find the time? I feel that everyone is making progress faster than me. I don't know if it's even possible for me to do this thing while I'm working a job. And I find that and feel that a lot of this comes from the hustle culture that we see from a lot of influencers online. And very rarely do we hear them talk about, okay, well, what if you have a job while you're doing this? A job can help you. A job can give you the money that will allow you to build your brand, build your business, buy the gear, the equipment, the software, the services, and the expenses that you need in order to really accelerate the growth of your business. But no, a lot of influencers out there in courses and other entrepreneurs who have jobs, but they don't tell you they have jobs, right? That's literally 99% of the people out there. They act as if they have this giant empire. And by the way, this is me not throwing dirt or judging them by any means, because they are helping people. They are impacting people. But I disagree with the front of, hey, look at me, look at my successful business, without telling you that they actually have a job that's funding the entire thing. Like, personally, I come from a place of, in 2019, I started my business. And at the time, I was in a top leadership position with a large sales company here in upstate New York. And I've been with this company and still am with this company to this day since I was 18 years old. I talk a lot about how I started in sales when I was 18. Well, this is the company that I'm talking about. And I rose up the levels of leadership. And finally, I realized if I want to fulfill my plan, fulfill my mission, which we're going to talk about here in a few minutes, then I have to seek outside the company. I have to start my own business so I can continue to reach more people. But I was earning 6 figures. I had a really great income, and I was building my business on the side. And why would I throw away that large income? And even if you're listening and you're making low 5 figures, like, why totally throw that away in order to start your entrepreneurial journey? And a lot comes down to risk tolerance, of course. But I find that there's more benefits to working part-time or full-time while trying to build your business than not. Because I rose to the highest levels of leadership. I'm building my business. I was fortunate enough to work with a company who actually helped to support me in building my business. They actually paid for me to go down to a seminar in Florida that improved my skills, that of course made me more valuable for their business, but that also taught me valuable skills that I use in my own business and with my own clients. So it's what's the word here? It's like a dual factor per se of, it's cool if you can have a job that also allows you to practice the skills and the abilities and the roles that you're going to play in your business anyway, because I was a sales trainer, right? And that's exactly what I do in my business is I work with sales professionals to help them build their brand and attract clients online, mostly new coaches, because that's where I was just a few years ago. So there's a statistic that says entrepreneurs who kept their day jobs failed 33% less often than those who just quit the job and jumped right into entrepreneurship. When we think about people who kept their job and started a business, one of these people has built a $1 billion business and actually sold her business for over $1 billion. Sarah Blakely, Sarah Blakely started Spanx. Literally, her inventory was like the spare bedroom. I think she actually had a lot of inventory for Spanx in the early days in her bedroom. And she had her day job at the time. I'm not quite sure what she did, but I know very well her story. I saw Sarah Blakely speak live at GrowthCon, Grant Cardone's conference, probably 3 or 4 years back, and she told this story. I also think of Damian John. He had a day job when he started to build his first business. And when he jumped into his entrepreneurial journey, he still had a day job because a job can be helpful. But I know it can make it more difficult because I'm with you, right? I'm still working a job that pays very well and takes a little bit of my time because I've built it up over a decade, but it still makes it difficult to do the things that you want to do. It makes it difficult to create the content. It makes it difficult to host the podcast. It makes it hard to have your client conversations. Maybe you're having to work on the weekends and you have a family and you're saying, Brandon, I want to see my family, but I also want to build this business and I also have to work this job in order to fund the business. Listen, I completely get it. And I want to share with you 4 or 5 tips today that will help you with that. A big part of it comes down to how much risk are you willing to take? And how much are you willing to bet on yourself? Because right now, if I left my day job and went fully into my business, I would be okay. I would survive. It'd be stressful, right? There'd be some anxiety because a lot of my income does come from my day job, but I could do it. Do I want to do it that way? No, because I feel I can actually reach more people in the time being by having that security, by having that comfort of a steady paycheck coming in. And I've worked my schedule around my business now that I have the benefit of doing that. I realize not all of you have the ability to work your schedule around your business. As an example, for me, I work my day job Friday through Monday, and I work it in the afternoons. So I sacrifice my weekends. And some people hear that and they're like, well, that stinks. You're giving away your weekend. Yeah, I'll give away my weekend now so that I can have prosperity later on, so that I can live my dream lifestyle later on. Plus, it doesn't feel like I'm just working every single day because I love what I'm doing right now and sharing these tips with you. I love working with my clients. I love helping them get results. I love working with different corporate clients with my other business venture, Team Elevate, with Christine Smith and Brian Rollo. I love all of that. So on Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, when I am going all in on my business, it doesn't feel like I'm giving up my life. And I worked with my job in order to move my schedule around those days. So if you're working with a company, and by the way, this isn't even the first tip yet, it's just me kind of throwing my own anecdote in here. If you have been working with a company for years and you've proven your value, you don't call out all the time, you don't take a bunch of personal time, but you've proven your value, you've proven your reliability. What if you tried to have your schedule moved in a way that would complement your business, that would allow you to spend the time that you want to spend on your own venture? Is that possible for you? And before you say, Brandon, that's just not going to be possible, don't just discount your ability to move around your schedule, to make it work. At least try. Frank Agan, someone who I follow on LinkedIn, he's also like the godfather of networking. He's mentioned if you try and then you fail, you've still gotten farther than the people who haven't tried at all. So talk with your boss and explain. Don't try to hide your business. That is a no-go, especially today when you're building a business on social media and people can practically see every single thing that you're doing. Go to your boss or your manager or your leader and say, hey, this is what I'm looking to do. I'm building this business because of X, Y, and Z. I love what I do here. And I was wondering, what would it take in order for me to have these specific days that I work so that I can work on my business? And I'm open to suggestions. What would you recommend in this situation? Right? Have that conversation. See how that goes for you, because it worked well for me. And sometimes it doesn't work out perfectly, but it's given me 3 days in a row that I can fully focus on my business. But I don't just focus on my business on Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. I wake up early before I go to work. When I get home, sometimes I have to schedule a podcast or schedule an interview or create a piece of content. Some days I'm totally drained. Many days I feel totally drained, but it's a fulfilling drain because I know that I spent my time most effectively and most wisely that day in order to go to my job and still come home and do the things that I need to do. A preface I'd like to make before we even get into the first tip here, and I've been talking for like 5 minutes, actually 10 minutes. We haven't even gotten there yet, but I promise we will, is this is going to be difficult. That's it. This is going to be hard. It's not easy to work a job, to have that steady income and build the business as well. But it would also be difficult if you were full-time with your business, always wondering where the next pay stream is going to come from, always wondering when the next client's going to come in, when the next check is going to arrive. There's a lot less certainty when you are full-time business. There's so much more certainty when you actually have a paycheck coming to you. So yes, this is going to be difficult. This will require you to get up earlier, whether it's before your spouse, before your kids, before your job, and work on your business for an hour before you go to work. And then when you get home, spend another hour, maybe 2 hours, depending on how fast you want to build. The faster you move, the faster it grows. Maybe you spend 2 hours, 3 hours when you get home. People always say, oh, I work a 9 to 5. I don't have time to build my business. Well, what are you doing between 7 a.m. and 9 a.m.? What are you doing between 6 p.m. and 9 p.m.? What are you doing during those times? Tony Robbins had a job when he started building his own speaking business in the late 90s. And eventually he got so busy that he couldn't keep the day job anymore. And that's the goal. Become so busy, become so profitable, and become certain in the level of income and value that you're able to provide for your clients and get for yourself that you can now leave your day job. That's the goal. So the first tip when it comes to building a successful coaching business or online business of any kind while working a day job is you need to know why you're doing it in the first place. What is your vision? What is your plan? There's a stat that I just saw. I don't know if it's a valid stat, but I saw it recently. I think it was actually a couple mornings ago. That says less than 1% of business owners realize the purpose of what they do in their business. And I believe it. I still network with people every single day. And I ask them, what are your goals? Like, where do you want this business to be in the next 10 years? What do you want your life to look like? And what do you want your day to day in the business to look like 10 years from now? And people constantly look at me and they say, well, I'm not quite sure. I'm kind of just taking it as I go. And it sounds crazy, but if you ask yourself right now, where are you bringing this? Like, what direction are you going in? In 10 years, if I asked you, what does your day-to-day look like in your business? What do you want your answer to be? For me, 10 years from now, I want to be traveling from country to country, giving talk after talk, working with high-level clients who want to improve their life, who want to improve their business so that they can help other people. I want to be hosting exotic retreats once a quarter where we bring in coaches and entrepreneurs and business owners, and we spend a week at some beautiful place, and we spend the morning training, we spend the rest of the afternoon and night doing things together, going out, having conversations, having one-on-one conversations and coaching. I know what I want this business to look like in the next 10 years. And that gives me the energy necessary to spend the time on my business on my quote unquote days off when I'm not working my day job. So if you feel drained when you go to work on your business on the days that you're not working your day job, or during the hours in the morning or the hours at night that you get home from your day job, or when you wake up, if you feel drained, then you don't have a clear vision for where you want your business to go. You either don't have clear vision or you don't have the belief that you can build this thing. And let me tell you, you can, right? Colonel Sanders was in his 60s when he built Kentucky Fried Chicken. Jeff Bezos failed for years and years and years and years before Amazon became successful as it is today. Thomas Edison tried 10,000 experiments before he created the incandescent light bulb. The one thing they had in common, belief. They believed that they could do it. You have to believe that you can do it for your business and your online coaching at the same time. So, number one, have a vision. Write that vision down. Make sure it's compelling. And truly write it as if it's already happened, because the brain doesn't know the difference between what's real and what's not. The more you tell yourself that your reality has already happened, the more likely that you will attract that outcome to yourself. Number two, so many people I see, and by the way, it's most of them, most business owners that I network with have a day job at the same time, or a stream of income that they are getting certainty from and a paycheck from. The number one thing, the number one mistake I see is a lot of business owners focus more and place more importance on their job than they do their business. And this is the same thing for people who aren't even building a business. This is the same thing for people who just have a job. They place more energy on their job than they do themselves. Jim Rohn had a quote, work harder on yourself than you do your job. And I'm going to twist that a bit and say, work harder on your business than you do your job. When I was in those top tiers of leadership at the company that I work with, we had over 350 employees. I was traveling to all different corners of upstate New York, and it's a big state. From here to the other end of the state, it's about 6 hours to go from Albany to the far edge of Buffalo. And we had retail stores, 45 of them across the state. I was in a leadership role, and it was very difficult for me to place more importance and focus on my business than it was my job, because I was constantly reporting to my higher ups. I was constantly reporting to my leader. And at the beginning, they supported me, and they always supported me. But it got to a point where as my business began to grow, they started to see me more focused on my podcast. They started to see me more focused on writing my book. They started to think, well, how is he putting so much time in his business when he should be giving that time to us, his company? And I had to make some tough decisions. I had to step down from leadership to focus on being on the sales floor full time, like I mentioned, Friday through Monday, because it was the only way that I was able to place the importance and the emphasis on my business. It was practically impossible to do it from a place of leadership. So if you're someone saying, I don't know how I could place more emphasis on my business right now, then maybe you're too high up in your company to be able to do both of these things. If you have people breathing down your neck constantly, and if you post a piece of social media content, they're going to be like, Jake, how are you doing this? Why aren't you working on our business? Why are you working on your own? Listen, your boss, as supportive as they are, they don't want to see you spending more time on your business than you do their business. So let me ask you, are you more willing to build your dream or somebody else's dream? And if the answer is, which I hope it is, your own dream, then you might have to make some tough decisions in order to be able to place the emphasis on what you're doing. Because in my role now with the job that I'm with, I'm able to focus 99% on my business. And I'm able to show up to my job the other days of the week to help the customers that I've been building the customer base of for the last decade. And I'm fortunate in that way. But I know a lot of you listening are in a very similar situation, even that I was. You're in a high leadership position. You don't think you can balance both of them. You might be right politically. You might not be able to balance both. So you might have to make some sacrifices in order to focus on your dream and your vision, which is your business. Number two, your business must be more important than your job. Where focus goes, your energy and your success will flow. Number three, you got to know your schedule and you've got to make it work. I already mentioned this is not going to be easy, working a job and building a business. You are going to be drained a lot of the time, okay? And it's just the reality. And this is why it's important to nourish yourself. This is why it's important to get in the movement and the exercise and the physical, to move. It's important to take care of yourself, even more so than you take care of your business, because without you, there's no business, especially at the beginning when you're a solopreneur. Okay. So you got to know your schedule, and everything must be in the calendar. If your business responsibilities aren't in your calendar, but your job's responsibilities are, then you're immediately disregarding number two, which is your business must be more important than your job. If I pull up my calendar right now, which I'll do for you, and I'll show you my calendar, okay? Everything is placed in my calendar. I know it doesn't really show it very well, but everything's in my calendar, okay? Every single day. And I have maybe 5% of things in my calendar for my day job. The other 95% of things in my calendar are for my business. Every podcast is scheduled. Every networking conversation is scheduled. Every client conversation for one-on-one coaching is scheduled. Every broadcast like I'm doing right now is scheduled. Schedule things. If you don't schedule it, it will not happen. And sometimes if you're working a job and building a business, you're going to have to schedule things at 6 a.m. And you might look at that and you're like, oh my God, I don't want to put something on my calendar for 6 a.m. But listen, it might be the most important thing you schedule, which is your physical movement, working your body, right? Schedule in times of reflection, schedule in your morning routine. If it's not in the calendar, it doesn't exist. So ask yourself, with the day job that you work right now, when do you have the time to do what you need to do? And don't tell me you don't have the time. Don't tell me that. If you tell me that, I know you're not fully invested in this thing. And I'm sorry if this comes off as a little harsh, but it's the truth. I meet a lot of people who say, Brandon, I would love to create a business, but Brandon, I'm a father. Brandon, I've got responsibilities. Brandon, I work 60 hours a week. Okay, cool. So what are you doing during the other hours of the week, right? Schedule in your family time. I'm not saying don't see your kids. I'm not saying don't do anything fun for yourself. Schedule it in and make it work. You'll be drained, yes, but will you look back in 10 years and regret that you put all of your focus on scheduling things in for your business, scheduling time with your family? No, because in 10 years, you'll likely have the lifestyle that you set for yourself with step number one when you created the plan for yourself with your business. 10 years from now, you're going to be happy that you determined what time during each day of the week are you going to spend working on your business. I challenge you right now, grab a pen and paper, do it right now. I see you, believe it or not, you're watching me, but I'm looking right back at you right now. I want you to grab a pen, grab your piece of paper, and I want you to make your schedule right now for your business. Okay. And if the amount of hours that you're putting into your business is less than that of your job, I ask you to please reconsider and go back to your schedule and write down and change it. Because you should be focused more on your business than your job. Maybe at the beginning, it's a little bit less. But after you're a year in business, 2 years in business, it should be becoming less about your job and more and more and more about your business. Don't create a story of why you can't do this. When you say, I can't do this, I can't do that, try changing that instead to, I can build my business while working a job, while raising two small children. I can do this because blank. Fill in the blanks. Write down 10 reasons why you can do this. And focus on the reasons you can do this, not on the reasons that you can't. Number 4, this might be one of the most important parts of what we talk about today. And this is where I went wrong for years, which is focus on the activities in your business that are actually moving the needle in your business. You have limited time to work on this thing. So you have to focus on the things that I'll refer to as the needle movers, things that actually make progress for your business and help to grow your business. Making a social media post isn't always growing the business. Ordering the business cards, sorry, not growing the business. Making the website, nope, not growing the business. Enrolling clients, that's growing the business. And even at the beginning, when you're a coach, if you're helping people for free right now, Caleb Nelson actually just made a post the other day saying, hey guys, I'm at the airport waiting for my flight and I've got like an hour. I'd love to do some quick 5-minute coaching calls. Venmo me $5, right? This guy is making time for the number one most important activity at all, which is enrolling new clients. And you ready for it? This is the most activity of all in your business. Number one, before anything, sales. Because in order to serve people, they're going to have to pay for that value. Caleb Nelson didn't just say, I've got an hour, reach out if you want me to quickly coach you. He said, no, buy me a coffee and Venmo me $5 and we will make this coaching call happen. Okay? You value what you pay for. And the number one thing you must focus on in your business before the social media, before the website, before the business cards, before the networking is enrolling new clients. Yes, social media can help with that. Yes, a website can help with that, but it's not necessary at the beginning. The number one thing you should be doing is identifying your ideal client, outreaching and starting conversations with as many of them as possible, determining their goals, determining their struggles, and helping them to overcome those things and reach their goals. That's it. And if during the time that you're working on your business, all you're doing is having DM conversations with your ideal client, you're doing it right. And you'll slowly get better at moving that into enrollments, moving that into sales conversations, moving that into having more and more clients, to the point where 6 months from now, you might be saying, wow, I have so many clients that I actually have to raise my prices. And then a year from now, your prices are raised. You've got a ton of clients and you're saying, I can't work my job anymore. I'm too busy with my business. I'm making more from my business than I am my job. And you'll know when it's time to make the leap, because the amount you're earning from your business is more than that of how much you're spending each month on your expenses, your car payment, your rent, your mortgage, all the different things that you have to buy, right? So focus on the activities that really matter in your business. This is where I went wrong. I focused on the social media. I focused on the website, the business cards, the clothing. This hoodie I'm buying right now, I spent probably like 2 hours designing this along with a bunch of other clothing back in 2019. This hoodie is like 3 years old. It just goes to show that the quality of this hoodie is pretty damn good. But people always ask to buy the hoodie and they're like $70. And when I tell people the price, they're like, I don't know. I think I'd rather go buy like a North Face or something. But let me tell you, this BE hoodie, it's comfy. And I'd be more than happy to send you one. They're like $75. I'm not making money on that. That's just the cost. So just shoot me a message if you do want some BE merchandise, because you would think that this hoodie was like 2 months old. Like, it's pristine condition. But don't focus on making the hoodie. Focus on sales and focus on the activities that actually move the needle in your business. And wow, I told you I'd give you a bonus tip, didn't I? And I'm going to. This is tip number 5. Okay, this is your bonus tip. It might also be one of the most important tips that I give you today. And that is, listen to your body. I'll tell you, honestly, I didn't want to do this broadcast today. And I scheduled it last week. If I didn't schedule it, it probably wouldn't be happening right now. Remember how we talked about that? Number 3, know your schedule, put everything in your calendar. If this wasn't in my calendar, if I didn't have like 15 people who were signed up to watch this, I probably wouldn't have done this broadcast, because the last 2 days I was at my day job, and today's Tuesday. So Sunday and Monday were draining days. I work with customers and I love my day job and it's great money, but they were draining days. And I got home last night. I did get some great sleep, but I woke up this morning and I was like, oof, I feel drained. My voice was scratchy. I was just feeling it, but it was already scheduled. And I've got some more things scheduled today too that I will perform at my peak for, because as a business owner, your reputation's everything. You have to show up. I still showed up today to give these tips to you because I knew, hey, listen, while I might not want to do this right now, I know that this message will reach at least one person. They'll take one of these tips, they'll apply it, and they will build a successful business while working a full-time job. I knew that it would help one person. So listen to your body. I'm kind of going against this right now because I'm here when I really didn't feel like being here tonight. I don't always feel like that, but it's important that you do take time to rest. It's important that you do take time to recover. People out there like Grant Cardone will say, no, that's baby shit. You don't need to rest. You don't need to recover. Get out there, 10X, do what you need to do. I get it. I respect it, right? I love Grant Cardone. I love David Goggins, who would say, rest. You don't need to rest. You need to keep going. You need to work harder, right? But, I disagree. I think that there is a time to go outside and take that walk, get some exercise in while you're resting, while you're meditating, while you're recovering, and take a day, put one day in your calendar, maybe even every few weeks, where you take time off from the business completely. My friend, Sylvester Jenkins, who's in our community, he is a resilience coach. He's an incredible human being. And I think he calls himself the king of bouncing back, right? Great. But he talks all about resilience. He puts in his calendar that this Thursday, he's going to focus on rest and recovery. And I respected the hell out of that. And some people might say, you don't have time to rest. You're still building. But you know what? The rest that he puts in on that one Thursday will help him for the next week and a half to 2 weeks. Now, please understand, I'm not saying rest every day. Please don't do that. You will not build a successful business and you'll be wondering why it's not growing. But take a day every few weeks to simply rest, to be with yourself, and you'll see the difference that it makes in your business. My wife and I were going to Greece on Friday, and we're going to be in Greece for a week and a half. I'm going to be very minimal with the amount of business that I'm doing. So you know what? While I didn't want to be here today, I'm still here because I know I'm going to have a nice rest and recovery period of fun and enjoyment for a whole week and a half at the end of this week. So plan your rest accordingly. Now, if you are a new coach and you want more guidance on how to build this thing called an online business, I created a 5-day challenge that will literally guide you through step 1 through step 5 to enrolling clients, impacting those clients, and creating the lifestyle that you want to create. You'll learn all of the mistakes that I made from 2019 to now. It's several hours of video content and a complete workbook, and it's completely free to join the challenge. So go to the link in the comments or the description or my featured section on LinkedIn and enter your email. It will enter you into the challenge. You'll get the workbook that you need, and let's rock and roll. I'm going to show you exactly what you need to know to create a successful online coaching business. But to those out there with a job while you're building your business, kudos to you. I'm with you. I'm in the same boat. Let's rock this. Let's make impact. Let's do what we need to do to build this vision that we have for our future. And let's make it happen, baby. I'm glad you joined us. Thanks so much for tuning in. And until we talk again next time, continue to be better.